It's Wednesdays. Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Wednesdays with Woody, where we interrupt your regular. No. Today we're interrupting your run-of-the-mill, thrilling Wednesday to bring you another rendition of this hot-ass mess of a show. Let's go. Yes. If you haven't guessed it, I'm your host, Woody Woods, and this week your boy is unraveling. He's decided to just unravel. He's decided to just let life be what it is, to go with the flow, to see where everything, I don't know, just to see how this all plays out. Like, I'm tired. I can't do no more. I just can't do no more. But before I get lost, on this week's episode of the podcast, we're going to be discussing gay tax. It's a term I just discovered this week. It was very interesting just to read up on it and to really just to give it some thought, to think about it. That's it. That's all we're going to be talking about this week. Gay tax. Nothing else. I just want to keep it nice, short, and sweet. I feel like it's the end of the year, and yeah. I don't need to be going on and on and on and on. I need to just be like pulling back, you know? So don't forget to subscribe, comment, I don't know, listen to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I, for one, I really enjoy putting these things together. So if you like it, give it a like, give us a follow, do the right things, give us a comment, let us know what you think. I'm always eager to hear what you guys' opinions are, what you guys want to hear. You can also follow me on all social media platforms at I am Woody Woods, where you can just reach out to me and just, start a conversation. Let's get into this week. So I was very interested in this concept of a gay tax, seeing as this was a term I've never really heard of before. I've never heard of this before. I've heard of black tax, which in some ways is similar but quite different from gay tax. They share the common thread of them both representing financial burdens placed on certain groups of people due to either societal or systemic biases. I think that's about as far as the similarities between the two go, but I'd never heard of a gay tax. And I think that one of the things that is different between black tax and gay tax is that gay tax comes from laws or rules that make things a little bit more costlier for LGBTQIA plus people or folks, which is very different from black tax, which is about someone's personal sense of responsibility towards their family, and just trying to alleviate the pressures or the realities of an unfair society that is discriminated against you based on the color of your skin. I think I've summed it up quite well. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up those two terms and those two concepts. But why was I taken so much in just finding this term and just being like, okay, what the hell's going on here? What the hell is going on here? Like, why are we being taxed unfairly compared to, I don't know, anyone else in society? And it was very interesting while I was busy doing my investigation. I think it first started around fertility treatment costs. So it was very interesting for me to read couples, same-sex couples, talking about how the cost of them, and I think this was in the UK, I think it was in the UK, how the cost for them to have children was greater than their straight counterparts who had a much cheaper experience and didn't have to fork up quite a substantial amount of money up front before the government's NHS before the government's NHS could step in to assist them in terms of starting a family. I think that was very, very interesting to me, that this is already a marginalized group of people. Why on earth are you trying to make life hard for them? Why on earth are we doing this? Is there no other way for us to exist in the world? Yeah. And I think that in my reading, and obviously I might be wrong, I don't live in this country, I'm just reading. I'm reading what the facts are telling me, or what the opinions of the world are telling me. Anyway, in my research of this discrimination, of this difference, is that there was a different process that same-sex couples had to take, in that they needed to prove their infertility before the NHS could commit to IVF. And even as part of this, they still needed to fork out, I don't know, some cost. They needed to pay some cost towards several rounds of artificial insemination. And this was really quite interesting to me, because I was like, my word. why would we need to go through this? But I suppose and I suspect it's actually got to do a lot with, and this leads to the other areas in terms of my research, around the different ways that gay people, LGBTQIA plus folks, pay gay tax, whether it is benefits where we're being discriminated across. We've just had a peek into fertility treatment costs. There's also tax filing dilemmas, but that's in the US. And there's the gender language in tax code. And I think this is primarily where we have a society who's decided to be more welcoming, more accepting of LGBTQIA plus people, but the laws that govern that country, they're still very much entrenched with the old jargon or the old viewpoint of how we view, is it how we view? I think I'm going on a tangent over here. The jargon in the law books is still very much archaic. It hasn't moved forward. It's still trapped in the past, and therefore has an impact on the way people are currently living their lives today, which is tragic. I mean, it's really, really tragic. I can't imagine having to go through a very different system, or a different process, not even a system, a different process in order to have a baby in a country just because, I don't know, because you're a same-sex couple. Why can we not have the same benefits and the same rights as our straight heterosexual counterparts? I mean, it's very wild. It's very wild to me. And I suppose what interests me about this term is that I've just never heard this term before, Like I'm busy saying, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, is that I've heard of black tax. I've just never heard of gay tax. And I don't know. I suppose in South Africa we're very fortunate that we have such a progressive and forward-thinking viewpoint in terms of LGBTQIA plus rights in this country, compared to many other African countries, and maybe even compared to many Western countries. We're very progressive in how in our LGBTQIA plus rights and history. So this term is just like, I'm just like, ooh, wow, very interesting that there are people in other countries that are actually just going through something that is wildly different from my own experience. But I do suspect that in terms of a gay tax, and I'm not even sure. Oh, really? No, because if I'm busy thinking about IVF, I'm pretty sure that gay people have to go through the same process that straight people have to go through in South Africa in order to have a child. Aside from having to deal with the bigotry and whatever else might come from people who are homophobic. But generally, I think the process is exactly the same. I can't foresee a difference. This is where my research did not delve into, because I was like, I'm not really interested, because I know we're good down here. We have our own issues that we need to resolve, but ain't nothing like gay tax down here. So yeah, that is what was on my mind this week, gay tax. And yeah, I really do think that it has really a lot to do with the way things have been written from a legal perspective, and the inability to correct or dismantle or to change those laws in order to reflect what society currently looks like today. It's actually something that really speaks to something, or this whole thing speaks to something that I have been observing. People buy houses, or we all buy houses, or some of us buy houses, or we rent, or whatever the case might be. But we buy, rent, whatever, these houses. And when you enter these houses now, in 2023, you enter these houses, and I don't know, they don't look as modern as you want them to look. It's either there's still wallpaper, or worse still, for me, in my opinion, there's carpet still installed, or the kitchen hasn't been updated just to reflect the current way of living in 2023. Oh, I don't know. The colors, it's I don't know, it's these pastels, or these, I don't know. You enter this house and it's pretty run down, or it's been in its current state for many years, and no one has thought to do any upgrades or any new touches, or whatever the case might be, in order to bring this house into the 21st century where we are all currently living. And I think that is what this kind of makes me think of. It makes me think of the fact that how is it that we, and in many areas of society, we're advancing as human beings, as a society, as a people, as a species. We are moving forward, and our laws might get in our way in terms of this progression. There needs to be some, what is the word? Agility. There needs to be some agility happening there. But I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know anything about this. I'm just speaking what I want to speak. And that's that on that. Okay. I said I was going to keep this week's episode nice, short, and simple. And I really, really do. I really want to. But something that was trending this past week, I really do intend on keeping this episode short. Something that was trending this past week was Troye Sivan. Me and people's surnames. Troye Sivan's music video, One of Your Girls. I really liked the song. I really liked this video. I really liked this messaging. It made me wonder, though, in his personal life, does he dress up in drag? I have many questions, which I do not want to answer yet. I'm of the belief that if someone doesn't say they are gay, do not make the assumption that they're gay. Let people vocalize and speak their own truth when they're ready, and they're comfortable with themselves. We don't need to force labels on people. But this video for me was really, really nice. I really liked the name of the song and the journey that we were taking on, because I don't know, from my viewing, what I saw, and it reminded me a little bit of Pose, if anyone's ever watched Pose. I think I've spoken about Pose before on the podcast, but that was all the way back in season 1, where Was it Pose? I don't know if it was Pose. I don't know if the story here is a transgender story or if the story here is just a drag story. Either or, it works for me. And what this reminded me of was, what do you call it? What the story that we were being told through this music video was of a guy who cross dresses and then falls in love with a straight man and just wants the straight man to see him as one of his girls, you know. Obviously now that I am dissecting it, I can see all of the toxicity in it, which is troubling to me. There's so much toxicity in this that it's so troubling to me, but let's keep going. Maybe I'll clean it up for myself. Or maybe I won't. Maybe that was the point. Maybe the point of the video was to tell us actually this is toxic behavior. Or as LGBTQIA plus people falling in love with straight people is just completely toxic. I don't even know why anyone falls into that trap. Like we just should not be falling into that trap. But those are my views. Those are my personal views. That's how I see the world. I'm just like, if you're gay, find yourself a gay boy. You know, you'll be fine with gay boys. If you are lesbian, find yourself a lesbian lover. But there's no need to fall in love with our heterosexual counterparts. They're heterosexual. Boys like girls in their world. It's never the same. It's never the same sex scenario. But why this video reminded me of Pose is because one of the characters in Pose, what was her name? It was Electra. Electra Abundance. Yes, mother of the house. Yes, Electra Abundance. And who's played by Dominique Jackson. Ain't gonna get that surname wrong. Who's played by Dominique Jackson. Beautiful acting from her. But basically in the show, Electra, in one of the scenes or in one of the episodes, she's dating this man who is very rich, very wealthy, lives in a beautiful apartment in New York City, and he prefers to date men who are in the process of transitioning, and who haven't done the full surgery. They're just in the process of transitioning, and obviously Pose is based in an 80s or a 90s era. So yeah, let's just watch the show, but keep that at the back of your mind. And that's what this music video reminds me of. This, once again, I don't know if we're being dragged in this video or if we're alluding to a trans lifestyle. I mean, there are many questions I have for Troye that I don't want answers. This is a beautiful piece of work in my opinion. So yeah, and that was very interesting for me to watch him transition in the music video. I mean, first you see him in his male presenting form, and then as the music video just goes on, you see him transition into a gorgeous, beautiful woman, which is beautiful to observe, to watch her dancing around. You see, this is where I'm like, do I need answers? Are we using him or her pronouns? What are we using here for this character? But yeah, it was just beautiful to observe. It was beautiful to watch. Yeah, and I wish more music videos like that exist in the world, or that more videos like that are created in the world, that really, from an artistic perspective at least, begin to showcase the many different facades and experiences and lifestyles and that LGBTQIA plus people just go through on a daily basis. It was and for me that's what was beautiful of it. I want more of that when we speak about representation, when we speak about giving people a platform and a stage to express and tell their stories. This music video, beautiful, 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 but it really does sum up exactly what I'm looking for in terms of art. I just feel like for the longest of time, it's been the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I often wonder how we never get tired of the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, I walk into shopping malls or shopping centers or whatever, and sometimes I never actually enter a store. I just stand by the door, and it's the oddest thing, but I never go in because I'm just like, oh. And this has happened for years, even as a child. There's nothing new. There's nothing new that you're giving me. It's the same thing, and you expect me to, I don't know, be excited by the old gimmick, just in new wrapping. I want something different, and this music video really gave me something completely different. It's why I also detest the idea of the 90s having a rerun. Before you know it, you'll be telling me that we're doing early 2000s. Then I'm really going to have a heart attack, because I do not see why we need to go backwards. It was a terrible time in fashion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I don't know wherever you are on the spectrum, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. I'm so grateful. I hope I kept it short. I'm so grateful that you lent me your ears, that you lent me your time, that you could just listen through this, like I keep telling you, this hot ass mess of a show. Yeah, if you have any questions, any inputs, any insights, whatever, I'm an open door. Whatever. I'm always eager to hear from you, just to, I want to better this platform. I want to grow this platform. I want to see how far I can take this platform. So I'm open to suggestion, I'm open to viewpoints, I'm open to topics, I'm open to whatever. Just let me know. Just reach out to me at I am Woody Woods. Until next week, my lovers. Until next week. Lots of light, lots of love. I'm wishing you a blissful and peaceful and, I don't know, transformative week going ahead. May only what is meant for you find you. Yeah. That's it from me. Adios. Tot ziens. Sayonara.